Let's talk about the positives and negatives of adolescent dating and how the potential for failed relationships can have a tremendous negative impact on brain development. Adolescence is, of course, when youth begin to mature physically and psychologically. As youth develop sexually, they also develop intellectually and start to process ideas, potential scenarios, and relationships with others differently than they did as children. They begin to view some relationships as more intimate than others and strive for the feel good rewards that come with having relationships. Adolescence is a time when intimate relationships become a lot more meaningful and carry more emotional weight, as youth develop the capacity to metacognitively understand their own emotions. In the view of Henry Stack Sullivan, known for his theories on adolescent and pre adolescent intimacy, adolescence revolves around trying to satisfy personal needs, and that the security derived from having satisfying relationships with others is the glue that holds one's sense of self together. Identity and self esteem are gradually built up through interpersonal relationships. Dating is, of course, frequent among adolescents, as puberty causes new sexual and romantic urges towards intimate relationships with others. These close bonds affirm an adolescent's security and sense of self. However, while healthy relationships can have a positive effect on self-esteem and brain development, dating is also strongly associated with poor mental health. According to our textbook, entering into a new relationship leads to increases in self-esteem, but only if the relationship is of high quality. If it is of low quality, the self-esteem suffers. The breakup of a romantic relationship is the single most common trigger of the first episode of major depression. The emotional impact of failed relationships can also cause increases in substance abuse and delinquency. Further, youth are especially impacted by failed relationships if they have rejection sensitivity as a result of controlling upbringing or struggle with social popularity among their peers. Due to the high frequency of unsuccessful relationships early on, young adolescent girls starting to date early are more likely to be dissatisfied with their appearance or develop an eating disorder, and less likely to succeed academically. The negative impacts of failed relationships are particularly prevalent in the lives of girls who are white Caucasian, who experience family conflicts, who date older boys, or who hit puberty early. Later in life, these girls are also prone to experience less committed relationships and even dating violence. This may have to do with societal pressures placed on young girls to pursue sexual relationships before they are emotionally ready, as girls mature earlier than boys and often begin sexual relationships at younger ages with older boys. However, both sexes are equally prone to being the victim of or inflicting dating violence. There is a high tendency for dating violence in adolescent relationships and high numbers of adolescents who believe this behavior is acceptable. Dating violence has been known to be common among youth who live in rural areas, who are from single-parent households, who are of lower socioeconomic statuses, or who are LGBTQ, as well as students who may have experienced abuse earlier in life. These youth are more likely to be depressed, contemplate suicide, use illegal drugs, become pregnant during adolescence, and drop out of school. In order to prevent unhealthy relationships and their detrimental effects, teachers should work with both students and their parents to provide support to students where needed, as family relationships and peer relationships influence rather than compete with each other. Adolescents with supportive families are more likely to have healthier romantic dating experiences. Teachers should work to foster environments where students are empowered to be open about their negative feelings or toxicity within or following a relationship. They should teach students to listen to and be supportive of one another as well, as adolescents rely heavily on the support of their peers. Support from peers is linked to greater psychological well-being and low levels of depression and anxiety. Conversely, a lack of support from parents or peers is associated with low self-worth and poorer social adjustment, particularly in ethnic minority students. Overall, in aiding adolescents to pursue safe, healthy relationships in middle and high school, teachers contribute to improving the quality of these students' later relationships and mental health in adulthood.